Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. You know, it doesn't happen very often, but every now and then you get a battle where, at various points throughout the course of the gameplay, you actually find yourself laughing out loud and shouting and cheering at the screen. And today is one of those battles. And no, not because it's two brothers, I know what you're thinking. The thing is, you're not wrong. But that's, look, just watch and you'll see. I'm not saying that soul-ending depression here, for yes, it is he, we have seen him before. I'm not saying he's not going to go up the middle, but that's not the point of the battle. Oh, yeah, check this out. The high-precision spotter, he's in the Bungo, the Japanese Tier 10 battle cruiser. It gets this unique spotting consumable that not only increases the range of the guns, but also the accuracy. And the Bungo's guns are pretty good in the first place, but they're even better with that spotter consumable. And soul-ending depression has let the friendly carrier know, the Essex, he's sending his rocket attack plane straight up the middle there right now in an effort to spot the enemy carrier, because this consumable, I mean, the Bungo's pretty good at this sort of thing anyway, but with the added range and accuracy when it uses this spotter plane consumable, it's really, really good at sniping enemy carriers at the start of the match, and that's exactly what he's planning to do here. It's almost like the enemy Essex knows what's coming, because the very first target he goes for is soul-ending depression. Well, I suppose that's fair. But the friendly Essex, you notice he sent his initial strike squadron straight up the middle. Soul-ending depression asked him to spot the enemy Essex. The friendly Essex complied, there he is, but he did it by sending his aircraft right up the middle. Yet another reason, as if further evidence were needed, that it is rarely a good idea to go sailing straight down the middle of two brothers right at the start of a battle, unless your name's Flambass. Anyway, shots out. Nice hit, not bad. Not as impressive as it should have been, in reality, in these circumstances. Essentially, anything below the flight deck on an aircraft carrier should count as a citadel, because they're basically full of fueled and armed aircraft, air weapons, lots of explosives and lots of high-octane aviation fuel. So anything that penetrates the flight deck coming in from above should be scoring citadels, but you know, whatever. We'll take it. Nearly 23,000 damage. In case you're wondering, by the way, because the tooltip doesn't expressly say exactly how much more accurate this high-precision spotting aircraft consumable makes your guns, as well as the 10% increase to the range, which is honestly not needed. The range on these guns is excellent. But the previous two Japanese battle cruisers that also get this consumable, the Yomiuri and the Adatara, it makes their guns 10% more accurate while this consumable is active. But the Bungo here at Tier 10, its guns are 20% more accurate while this consumable is active. And while the consumable is active for 55 seconds on the Yomiuri and the Adatara, it's active for 65 seconds on the Bungo. And with a 30-second reload on these 10 18-inch guns, even if you're sitting around waiting for guns to reload before you get the initial salvo off once the consumable's active, you're almost certainly always going to get two full salvos, and that's 20 18-inch armor-piercing shells. Unfortunately, 19 18-inch armor-piercing shell hits aren't enough to sink an Essex-class carrier. I know. Nobody claimed World of Warships was a simulation. So soul-ending depression is going to have to rely on the services of the friendly Essex to respot the enemy carrier and see if he can finish the job. Meanwhile, the team have suffered their first casualty. Things are not going well, by the way. The team only have the one cap circle here at Charlie that they started with. The enemy team have taken all three of the others, and they've scored the first kill, knocking out the friendly Bourgogne. Soul-ending depression is, it's difficult to complain about the enemy carrier striking him. I mean, he did just do 47,000 damage to it, so, you know, that's fair. Can't really complain about that. He's taken some 8-inch high explosive across the island there from the enemy Des Moines while he was spotted by the enemy Essex. Speaking of spotting enemy Essex, where's he gone? You can see the friendly Essex has got his dive bombers out there looking for him, and the squadron's taking some hits. He's only got a couple of aircraft left alive. So, giving the enemy Grosser Kurfürst a wide berth. It's possible that he dumped some bombs on him, and that's where he lost most of the aircraft. Well, I say lost some aircraft. the aircraft that actually attacked the Grosser Kurfürst, and I'm assuming it was the Grosser Kurfürst that they attacked. They've obviously returned to base. Maybe had a couple shot down, but it looks like he's only got 2 left. And he's skirting the map border all the way up to the north there, trying to reacquire that enemy carrier, who has basically just pulled a disappearing act. Oh, hang on a minute. It's an Essex, isn't it? It's dropped a smoke screen for itself. That's what's going on. Because they can do that, can't they? Because that's fair. Well, the friendly Essex is doing its level best to try to avoid getting its remaining 2 dive bombers shot down, while it just waits out the smoke screen on the enemy carrier. Meanwhile, Soul Ending Depression, these guns aren't doing him any good if he's not firing them. Unfortunately, he just lost target lock at the second of opening up there, so most of those are likely to miss, despite the increased accuracy with the high precision spotter aircraft consumable active again. Oh, he did actually score some hits. That's not bad. Unfortunately, the team have now just suffered their second casualty, with an enemy submarine torpedoing and sinking a friendly Shimakaze. The Essex has been respotted. Right. He's still got 25 seconds left on this spotter consumable. And ooh, that looked a bit... It looked like he kind of clutched at the mouse there. It wobbled a bit at the point of firing. I don't think any of those are going to hit. I really do think he kind of screwed that shot. Oh, the team have just lost another battleship, by the way. They have suffered the loss of an Ohio, although the friendly Daring has just scored the team's first kill, which is nice, knocking out an enemy destroyer. For a couple of seconds there, the team were down to 191 points. I mean, it's still not looking good. They're still 300 points, 2 kills and 2 cap circles behind, but it's not quite as bad as it was just a couple of seconds ago. Don't expect it to get much... There we go. They've just lost. I've only got the 1 destroyer left now, the Daring. The Tromp has just been sunk by the enemy Des Moines, so they're back down below 200 points. And yes, Soul Ending Depression is going up the middle. We're 7 minutes into the battle at this point, though, so this is no longer guaranteed suicide. You go straight up the middle on Two Brothers right at the start of the match. I mean, it can be funny. And if you're in a division and you all do it, you're almost certainly guaranteed to die, because you come out of the mouth of this channel and you basically sailed straight into a crossfire from the entire enemy team, both to port and starboard, who've suddenly got nothing better to do than shoot at your broadside. It can be funny. It can throw the cat amongst the pigeons and sow some confusion and panic amongst the enemy team as they all start tripping over themselves to kick you to death and ignore the flanks. And hopefully the rest of your team can take advantage of that, but it is by no means guaranteed. Meanwhile, the losses continue to mount. The friendly Worcester just managed to get a kill. Hooray! The team have 2 kills. And then the enemy Cassard managed to depth charge and sink the friendly submarine. So the enemy team have 5 kills, as well as 3 of the 4 cap circles, and a 400 point advantage. However, Soul Ending Depression has almost managed to clear this channel completely undetected. Until the enemy carrier, it's almost like the enemy carrier's spider sense was tingling. Here he comes. He has spotted him. There's nothing he can do to avoid these rockets. But he spotted him way too late for the enemy Yamato. There is no way he's going to have time to turn and start angling his belt armour against this incoming 18-inch armour piercing. That, yep, ooh, that was a paddling. Managed to get some return shots off, though. Soul Ending Depression did not get away scot-free. And that long line of smoke over there he is. That's the Essex. Yes, it can lay its own smoke screen. Yes, it is just as ridiculous as it sounds. The team have just lost the Daring, but the Daring managed to get torpedoes away before the Bourgogne sunk him, and he is going to take the Bourgogne with him. And that high precision spotter is still active. Boom! Headshot, there goes the Essex. And Soul Ending Depression is flipping the... Well, it's not the enemy cap. This isn't a standard battle, it's domination. But he is flipping the cap circle. The Essex did, of course, manage to get his torpedo bombers active before he was taken out. And here they come. And there's very little, almost stationary as he was, that... Oh, actually, this could have been a lot worse. Looks like there's only maybe 2. No, just the 1. Okay, that could have been worse. Okay, it's worse. There's a submarine out there and he's just been pinged. So he's got a flood, he's got a sonar ping. And here come the torpedo bombers from the other side, because of course the aircraft carrier rework removed the ability for carriers to cross-drop, didn't it? Yeah. Well, damage control's back up, so torpedo homing mitigated just in time. But, of course, damage control's on anything from like a, I don't know, 45 to 60 second cooldown, depending on the ship. And the submarine's sonar ping is on, what, 20 second cooldown? So just has to wait 20 seconds and ping you again, doesn't he? A smart submarine captain will often launch torpedoes without a ping, wait until the torpedoes are about 30 seconds away from impact, then hit you with a ping, at which point you can either clear them with damage control, in which case he just pings you again and the torpedoes guide, or don't clear the ping with damage control, in which case the torpedoes guide. Either way, you're getting hit by guided torpedoes. You can, I mean, they don't guide as drastically as they used to. You can still maneuver to avoid them, as long as you know they're coming. Guided torpedoes aren't as silly as they were when they first introduced submarines. Note that the Essex has been dead for something like 2 minutes now. Continues to keep soul-ending depression spotted. Oh, by the way, this video is called Shot of the Year. Shots out against the Yodo. Gone undetected. That was not it. I mean, it was a good shot, but that wasn't it. Note that there's a duration on how long aircraft can actually stay active once the carrier's been sunk, so they've gone. He's no longer spotted by the Essex's aircraft, they've despawned. He's pinging the map and letting the team know where that enemy submarine is, but I'm not quite sure what he expects anybody else to do about it. He's the only one in any position to actually find and sink the enemy submarine, although it's probably more accurate to say he's now the only one in a position to be found and sunk by the enemy submarine. And there it is. He's pinged. There goes the damage control. So those should miss. Thing is, he's still surface spotted. Now, it could be the surviving enemy destroyer, or one of them. If it is an enemy destroyer, it's going to be the Z-42, because the enemy cassard is currently spotted all the way down to the south. Or it could be that that U-4501 is sitting there surface spotting him from periscope depth. And he's pinged him again, because of course the sonar ping only has a 20-second cooldown. And he has to wait a minute before he can get the damage control back up. So he's still pinged, he's now flooding. Fun times. I still maintain that they're not as annoying and unfun to play against as aircraft carriers, because you can counterplay the submarine. If he pings you, you get to see where the ping came from, you can drop depth charges on it. And if he's close enough to launch torpedoes, he's close enough for you to shoot him. Assuming, of course, that you can actually detect him, that's the trick. Of course, you don't need to detect the submarine in order to kill it, because it exists in the world as a physical object, regardless of whether you know exactly where it is or not. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you my contender for Shot of the Year as completely blind, basically crossing his fingers, rolling the dice and just aiming the guns in the direction of the sonar ping. Soul-ending depression just sank the U-4501 with his 18-inch guns. Get out of that one, darn it. That was the best shot I have seen this year. That was amazing. And now it's 2-on-2. Oh, that's the enemy submarine captain in chat. That was terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was amazing. Where's your sense of humour? Well, okay, it was terrible for you. I'll give you that much. You're not wrong. He thought he had all the time in the world to slowly nickel and dime away soul-ending depression's health. I mean, because the odds were on his side. No battleship's ever going to detect or outspot a submarine. And he didn't detect or outspot the submarine. Didn't detect him at all. He got him anyway. He's there in chat telling the Worcester, just go and cap A and we'll win. And it's, yeah, good advice. The Worcester's on low health. He does, of course, have radar. A radar cruiser armed with extremely rapid-firing 6-inch guns, and the full range of anti-destroyer consumables like the Worcester is an utter nightmare for a pair of destroyers to take down. But the Worcester is on low health, so heading for the cap, away from the two enemy destroyers, like the Z-42 who keeps getting respotted, and there's still a cassard out there somewhere. That's not a bad idea. Play it safe. Meanwhile, soul-ending depression, well, as well as flipping the cap over here, and knowing that he's facing two destroyers, has of course loaded the high explosive. And he just got surface spotted, so he knows at least one of those destroyers, probably the Z-42, has a clear line of sight. And he's deployed smoke. He's now gone undetected. which means, and I'm assuming it's the Z42, he's just slowed down because he's just launched torpedoes, so he no longer needs a target lock. Oh dear. Fucked that up, didn't you? There are guaranteed to be torpedoes on the way, and of course the bungo does not get hydro, and sure enough, there they are. But he doesn't have to worry about the Z42 anymore. Oh, and there's the Cassard! But the kill on the Z42 means that the Isiroko Yamamoto captain skill, Second Wind, has just activated, which not only reduces the reload time of the guns, but also restores up to 48% of the ship's remaining hit points, which means he doesn't die to the second set of torpedoes from the Z42, but the Cassard, who just went undetected in the smoke, does die to the shots from the rear turrets. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter, he's won, but is he going to get away with it? Is he going to live? Yeah, he's going to live. Some absolutely phenomenal shots from soul-ending depression there in the Japanese Tier 10 battlecruiser, the Bungo. But the best by far was the 100% completely blind Hail Mary, cross your fingers, roll the dice and take your chances kill on the U-4501. My contender for shot of the year. And yeah, I realise it's only May, there are still 7 months of 2025 to go, but I remain confident that nobody's going to beat that. So what do you think? Challenge accepted? Do your worst. Honestly, I hope you do, because if you manage to pull off a better shot than that, I want to see it. Hope you enjoyed today's battle, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.